Um, so thank you all for being here. We have this week just a few studies for you. And the first one that we'll tackle today is on the effective leadership style and conflict management on job satisfaction. And this was a literature review. And it was about, as the title indicates, the effective leadership and conflict management on job satisfaction. And so this author utilized 60 past research studies and focused on including studies that indicated the significant effect of leadership and conflict management on job satisfaction, since there are quite a few studies that have been done looking at this relationship. And the results of this found that it's reasonable to conclude that leadership and conflict management can have a significant effect on job satisfaction. And that this study, I realized, are focused on a lot on transformational leadership specifically, which approaches conflict with a spirit of collaboration and engages in flexible and creative problem solving as well. There's also a focus on improving and maintaining employee relationships and helping those grow. So that's kind of just a general gist of some of the aspects of transformational leadership. And this literature review found that studies show that leaders who utilize the laissez-faire style of leadership they experience higher levels of conflict among their employees, whereas those who utilize transformational leadership experience lower levels of conflict, and then they have associated higher job satisfaction among employees. And then in terms of conflict management, which these things are related, typically, transformational leaders typically handle conflict a little bit more constructively than maybe other leadership styles. But constructive conflict management specifically helps increase levels of communication, organizational trust, and understanding, which raises job satisfaction and effectiveness. The study also suggested that leaders should utilize different conflict management styles that are most appropriate for the situations that they find themselves in. And then, so some of the key takeaways that we can take from this is teaching leaders in organizations how to constructively manage conflict can lead to greater job satisfaction. And then conflict resolution consulting firms can help with this. It shows kind of a need for our work because there are results here that show job satisfaction does occur when these things are taught and utilized. And then additionally, as leaders themselves, as consultants, they should be aware of their own kind of leadership style or at least consulting style in order to increase satisfaction of their experience. And so generally straightforward literature review, but I'm interested to hear what you all think of it.
Yeah, that was pretty clean, straightforward review. It seems like what it's suggesting is that if leaders have constructive conflict management skills, and that leads to job satisfaction and effectiveness as a leader, it's like that relationship is mediated by a level of organizational trust and understanding. Is that what it was suggesting? So it increases trust, and then that leads to more satisfaction.
Yeah,
more effectiveness.
I think that's where it was. That's where one of the studies was coming from with that. Yeah.
I wonder, do you know if this literature review included anything along the lines of like on the receiving end, right? So the employees, like what their styles are and like what their preferences for in a leader? Because I wonder if that has anything to do with the higher job satisfaction, just the individual preference of a leader. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know that was addressed specifically. I think that I think it's related generally. They really did focus on like transformational leadership as the kind of key leadership style that generally improves employee experience at organizations.
Because they were measuring job satisfaction of employees, not job satisfaction of the leader. Yeah. So transformational leadership led to higher employee satisfaction.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, so the laissez-faire is more like the checked out leader, kind of like not not dealing with things transformational is more kind of heading into it in a constructive way.
Yeah.
And then it didn't talk about other styles of leadership, like transactional leadership or anything.
They mentioned it. It was mentioned, but they didn't elaborate too much.
This
They
was
really
more-
just focused on transformational and then compared that to laissez-faire.
This kind of reminds me of last week's too, just the concept of like having structures put in place for I think we were talking about like the in-group, out-group issues. And even with leadership, it's like, okay, having no structure, laissez-faire style is not going to be good, right? But transformational, I would assume that means much more hands-on, like looking at the gaps of where things are and like wanting to do something, wanting to act, wanting to put structures and systems in place.
Right.
It really goes to speak to like the importance of companies to get their leadership, get the right leaders in there who have the ability to be adaptive and to learn leadership skills, and B, who do practice both transformational leadership and constructive conflict management. And I think those two things, so many leaders are not trained in those things. Like that, and a lot of times we go into companies, and it's because they don't have that training, and companies end up, they promote people because they do a good job technically in their job, but they don't have any leadership skills. And that's a big thing. And so they don't get them trained, and there's no like sort of leadership development program for people that are getting promoted. So that's, so it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and just thinking about our services, I think this highlights how important it is to how we have our CCM program, to where we can train, HR personnel or leaders to have the skills to work through conflicts and things like that.
Yeah, well, and it's also, the program that I just proposed for a new coaching program. So there's one is our Peace Builders program. That's a conflict management program basically. And the other one is a transformational leaders program. And I think that one we should really focus on. I think this is a great study to support our two coaching programs. Mm-hmm. Teach them conflict management and communication, and teach them transformational leadership. And that could be another. I wonder if with consistency and repetition. Absolutely.